Hey everybody, welcome back to another collection video. And to start off like usual, just letting you guys know that the reason for these videos, besides showing you guys, what primitive stuff I do have, that there is some fun stuff I do have, but as the channel grows, more videos come out, more games I play, more games I get, I want to sort of keep like a little journal just to see how the channel started with its humble beginnings. And I was, to be honest, this is the last one that I'm filming because I wanted to save this one for last. I know the Xbox one that I had was a little bit longer. I think it was like 22 minutes. I don't know how long this video is going to be. Maybe around that length, so you might want to sit down and hopefully have a good time with what I'm talking about here. But these two systems are very special. Or actually, especially one of them more than the other one. But anyway, I know my collection isn't massive. I don't have all the best games and stuff. We'll get there if there's games out there that I'm interested in. But the games I do have, I'm really excited to get into. And there's a lot of fun stuff on here. But the two systems here, the Nintendo 3DS and this boy right here, the old DS. And I just love this sound right here, that click. A lot of good times on there. I know there's the DSi out that you can get for the bigger screens and things. I might look into getting into that, but right now, it's not a big deal. I do play my Game Boy Advance games on this guy, and it's a shame this one can't play regular DS games on there, but I'll tell you guys, the Nintendo DS, I don't have it anymore, but I bought that game specifically for a game called Meteos, which is a puzzle game where all you would do is slide down gems that would come down from the screen and make matches, and if you made a match, it would launch that stack of gems into the sky, and then gravity would slowly start pulling it down until you started making more matches, and it would get propulsion and push up. It was an amazing game. It still is. I don't know if I would have bought a system specifically for it. I think it's one of those games that you would tell most people about that, and either they never heard of it, or it's just not their cup of tea. But since then, there's been so many amazing things. I still think that in the Nintendo DS, plus the Game Boy Advance library, which I kind of include because you can play that on this sucker here, is for me the greatest handheld that's ever been out there. And the 3DS is awesome. The 3D in most games looks pretty cool. The library is getting there, but the library is already out there for this, and there's so much out there that it's, I don't know. It's like I said, it's one of my favorite systems, basically of all time, as messed up as that is. And I don't know if it's an age thing, but the older I get, it's not like I'm going around a lot of places and things, but this sucker is like, it still works. It's awesome. Classic Nintendo stuff where, it lasts. It doesn't break around. And the library, for me anyway, amazing stuff. So, saying that, I want to get a lot more Game Boy Advance games, especially DS as well, because they're usually cheaper for the most part. But there are some games that are out there that are a little pricier. And the first game we'll just introduce here is, I always say it wrong, Shining Soul 1. Let me just zoom it up here so you guys can see it. And this was given to me as a gift from a coworker, and I still need to get a case for it. I do have the DS cases, which you'll see, that I saw some people on YouTube were doing, and then I just printed out covers and put them on there. They just fit in the shelf nicer, and it's better than having just loose carts. This to me, I don't like this. This is kind of tacky, and you can lose this. You don't want to do that. But after I just got my video game room set up, I wanted to at least put this in and try it on the Game Boy Advance player, since it was a gift, and I don't want to say hello to that gentleman again and not say anything about the gift he gave me. But honestly, I'm really excited and stoked to play this game. Just the beginning that I played, man, it was really cool. I did play it, again, like I said, on the Game Boy Advance player on the GameCube. But starting it off by picking a character class in any game, usually I just absolutely love that. And it turns out that the game is like a Diablo style thing. And I'm assuming, in the way it looks, is it's a little, I don't want to say childish, it's just some cartoony graphics. And it's probably a lot simpler than Diablo. But I don't care. What I played was actually really enjoyable. And the menus and stuff kind of reminded me of, what's that game? Golden Sun. And I don't know if it's the same, I don't think it's the same company, because this is Atlas. And Golden Sun was done by Camelot, I think it's called. I'm always horrible with these names. But anyway, fantastic game. I honestly really can't wait to start playing this. Or I don't want to say again, just actually playing through it. Then we got this guy right here. Final Fantasy VI. so far, still the greatest Final Fantasy that I've ever played. And I have yet to beat it, which probably sounds a little weird and a little funny. But there's not much I can say about this game. Just I want to play it so I can do a proper discussion with you guys about it. But the opera scene, the Kefka, Sabin, Mog, all my amazing thing, amazing game. I don't know what else there is to say about this. I mean, this is one of those games that gets talked to right up there with Chrono Trigger as like the pinnacle for a lot of reasons of RPGs, especially for the day for Super Nintendo. I don't know what was with Super Nintendo and just creativity, but I don't know. A lot of developers were pumping with some really sweet and sick things, and this puppy right there is definitely there. The reason I would say right now that I didn't play or finish it was actually kind of funny, and I'll save that story for when I do the discussion because I have a lot of things I'd like to say about this. But one of them was my mom. She actually played this game. And that's why I didn't get to play it so much, was because she would always play it, and I had to sneak in between her play sessions to play. And that's how much I watched the game, played it, but we never owned a copy. And as I got older, I'd always look for it, but it was always very expensive, and I never had my Super Nintendo anymore. And that's why you saw the anthology one that I have, and I tried that again on the PSN or PS1, and it just wasn't cool. But anyway, that's enough talking about this guy. Deserves all the praise it gets, in my opinion. But let's keep moving on now. Another one here we have is Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. You guys know by now how I feel about the strategy RPG genre, but this, to me, I enjoyed playing the little bit that I did play of this more than the PS1 version of Final Fantasy Tactics. I don't know what it was, if it's the graphical style or just the simplicity of it. The characters seemed a lot cooler. It was just a little bit more laid back, and I really enjoyed that. And now that I've come to the conclusion of my collection videos, I'm really noticing that there's probably, I think, a tenth, maybe 20% of all games that I own I've actually completed. And that's actually a pretty big slap to my own face, because I like to collect them. I would like more. Who doesn't want more stuff? But I'm not completing these games, and that's really concerning to me. So, you know, I just have to be a little bit more disciplined and see them. It's like a book. Even though it might not be the greatest, you got to see it to the end, right? Unless it's a broken game, or in that case, like an absolute crapshoot of a book. But these guys here, these strategy RPGs, they're a little bit, you know, you have to have a sort of patience with these things, because they do take time. But sprites, I'm a sucker for sprites. Sprite artwork just looks really cool. So Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. Next up, we've got Golden Sun. Amazing RPG. Never beat it, but I did get pretty far, I think. And when I talk about the Final Fantasy series, or the first Final Fantasy that I do, it'll probably still be tied in with Final Fantasy VI. That's the next one on my list that I want to play and beat. Is that the summons in those games got me really hooked on the mythology of these things. And that caught me by surprise in this game. The fact that there are summons in this, and they look really good. Awesome. And the story was really cool. I don't have the second one because I haven't played the first one yet, and I'm not sure if I want to purchase it just yet. I know it might sound a little weird. And I know there's another one for the Nintendo DS. Or no, it's for the 3DS actually. And I haven't checked the prices on them, but it might be up there. And again, following these characters and stuff, I have this one. Sometimes, not in all series, but it seems like whenever I want to start playing something, I need to play the first one first, even if it's an older one. And I don't know what that is, if it's a completionist thing or something, but usually that's how it goes. And yeah, so just give me 1 second here. I'm just looking at the camera, and apparently, if you guys see a little bit of wobble, I apologize. It's saying I need to charge it, so I'm just going to plug in power. There we go. Hopefully we didn't skip a beat or anything. But anyway, Golden Sun. By Nintendo, but yes, I think it was Camelot that did that. Now here we go. I'm going to talk about both of these guys right here, but I want to put them both up there because Metroid is one of my favorite series of all time. And I don't think I can put a word as to why exactly that is. There's a style to it that I haven't felt in another game. Super Metroid was my first Metroid game that I ever played. Again on the awesome Super Nintendo, the greatest system of all time. And there's times when it scared me. I felt isolated and alone. The sense of adventure was huge. Advancement was amazing. A lot of things felt really good in that game. And it stuck with me all the way through. Metroid Prime I don't own. I have played, a lot of people talk really high praise about the game. I don't know what it is. To me, it just misses something. First person takes away from that side scroll. You know what it is? I think it's just the time and age that I grew up in gaming. Side scrolling was basically all there was, and that was the standard. And it set certain precedents and feelings and emotions that a game could do. And when games like Super Metroid would come along, it was magical stuff. The things that game did was anyway. But in that case, the first Game Boy Advance Metroid that I played, excuse me, was Metroid Fusion. A little drink of water. Actually, my water, totally unregarded. I started to cut up limes and lemons and throw a couple slices in there and just keep refilling with water over a couple hours. Highly recommend it. You guys give it a shot. You might like it. It's kind of tasty. Throw little ice cubes in there. Bob's your uncle. It's delicious. It's great. Anyway, so Metroid Fusion, I bought that, and what it took away was that sense of exploration and replaced it with a sense of eeriness and, I don't want to say adventure, but eeriness and pressure. You're trapped in a place, and for those of you that haven't played it, I don't want to spoil it. It is an older game, but even still, it's not a huge spoiler, but the main antagonist of this is something I don't want to give away. Hopefully you can find time to play it. But it was just like a chase, you know? You never knew when that bad guy, we'll call them, was just around the corner, and when they were, just the feeling you got from this game was awesome. It's not a long game. Most Metroid games aren't, but that's okay. I find it very unique. I don't necessarily put it in the place, like I wouldn't put it next to Metroid Zero Mission or Super Metroid. I would definitely put this more in the vein of Metroid Other M, but this has a little bit more action. Oh, that's a lie. It has more of like an eeriness, like I said. There's something happening. Now, Metroid Zero Mission, I never had Metroid for Nintendo. I don't even know if I would have liked it. But this game right here, holy hell, amazing. It might even be, a lot of times I start swaying on whether or not I like this one or Super Metroid is my favorite Metroid. And that's saying a lot because Super Metroid is amazing, but Zero Mission feels real good. It feels like Super Metroid, but just with a different story, a different twist to it. And I don't know, it's a very, very good game. And if you haven't played it, I would honestly try to find the time to do so because amazing game. 2 excellent titles to have. Okay, the next one here is, look at this box all beat up. Zelda: A Link to the Past. Now the price tag's actually taken off. When I bought this, I got this for $2. I also picked up Mega Man X Collection for PS2 for $2. I also picked up Mega Man Collection for GameCube for $2. I also picked up the Nintendo Game Boy Advance player for the GameCube for $10. All of that was because at the place I worked, these were in a bin, and they were still in the system to be sold, but they just were left in the back. Can you imagine finding this stuff? Holy hell. This right here, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, my favorite Zelda game of all time. All time. And granted, in saying that, I haven't played every single Zelda, but Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, what else is there? The other ones will come up to Minish Cap, Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons. All, they're all really good games, but this game right here, again, Super Nintendo. It had to have been nostalgia talking here, like changing my view, but this game is, holy hell, this is an amazing adventure game. I haven't felt, when I still play it now, I don't feel the same emotionally, but at the time of playing this, even the intro with the rain, the lightning, it feels like there's sunshine, And when you go to get the Master Sword, the feels, man, that you get. Oh man, it was. I wish most of you that haven't played this or didn't get a chance to play this could go back to when it came out and play it, and so you can experience the graphics, the cutting edge graphics at the time. Wow, amazing game. Absolutely amazing game. And I was very fortunate to be able to pick it up. I know it's not a Super Nintendo cart, but again, that's one of the things I do like about the Game Boy Advance player is that I can play these. And the music takes a hit, but the game is still very much intact. And the last game that I have right now for Game Boy Advance is this guy right here, Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap. Absolutely adore this game. It reminds me, the Capcom does an amazing job with Zelda. Absolutely amazing job. Almost to the point where it's sometimes even better than the ones Nintendo do. And I know that sounds a little weird. That's my personal preference on this. Honestly, I don't like Zelda games when Ganon isn't the main enemy. And unfortunately, he's not in this one. And I was hoping beyond hope that when I got to the end of the game, after fighting the boss, that Ganon would show up and I'd be like, yeah, here we go. But the art style in this, it reminds me of Wind Waker a lot, but in sprite form with a little bit more detail. So there's certain things in it that look like Wind Waker to me. But anyway, no, if you guys haven't played this game, definitely pick it up. It's more than worth your money, especially if you're a Zelda fan. Amazing game. Absolutely amazing game. And that wraps it up for the Game Boy Advance. Next, we're going to move on to the Nintendo DS, another one of my favorite systems. This is a recent pickup, Aliens Infestation. Again, it's one of those Metroid-style, Castlevania-style games. So I'm very interested. I love the Aliens franchise, up to Aliens 2. And, or Aliens, I should say. Alien was awesome. Aliens was awesome. Aliens 3 was kind of, what the hell? Not Infestation. Some of the other movies, I won't get into them with you guys right now, but I do like the idea of aliens and the mythology that goes behind them. So that mixed with some Metroid, I'm in. I've heard some mixed things since picking it up, but whatever. We'll figure it out once we get to it. I'm actually really excited to play that. Next up here is Blue Dragon Plus. I enjoyed the 360 version so much that I saw this and I picked it up. I haven't played it. Even though it is another one of those strategy RPGs, I don't know if I'll ever play this. I would hope so one day, but with the amount of strategy RPGs out there, it's hit and miss. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that one goes. Now this one here, still in the shrink wrap, Chrono Trigger, another RPG, another awesome RPG that I haven't finished. I remember playing that on Super Nintendo and it blew my mind. This cover here, I'm so glad they used it for the box art. It's oh my god. Akira Toriyama, the artist, holy hell, what an amazing guy. But I haven't beaten it. I want to play it and beat it as well. But I still left it in the shrink wrap until the day comes when I want to play it. And I'm kind of, the longer that I leave it like this, the more I kind of get hesitant to open it. Not that I think I would ever sell it, but I don't even know if the Nintendo DS version would actually, what's the word I'm looking for, actually go up in value. I haven't checked. I'm not hanging on to this to make millions of dollars, any of that kind of crap. But it's just, I knew once I bought it, when I did buy it, it had been out for a while, and I was like, I have to have it in my collection, when a few years back anyway. So I went looking for it. I couldn't find it. I finally found it, paid the money for it, and I was still playing games at the time, so I didn't unwrap it. And the longer, like I say, it's kind of like a fortune cookie. The more that I don't play it, or the longer that I don't play it, thanks Zelda, the longer that I don't play it and unwrap it, it just kind of seems like I don't want to. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I might try to find a cart or something that I can just, or find maybe, I want to see the cutscenes. There's so much about this that I want to experience. And maybe it's just me getting in my head about keeping it shrink wrap. I don't know. Anyway, rambling on about that one. Next one here is Disgaea DS. I've heard very good things about this series. It's one of those ones, again, another strategy RPG. But I'm interested. I'm interested in checking it out. There's a lot of people that talk about it, like usual. And I don't know, it seems interesting. It seems very flashy. Whatever that means. And here's a series that I've always wanted to get into, but for some reason I just can't seem to do it, and that's Dragon Quest. And this is Dragon Quest IX: Sentinels of the Starry Skies. I've played a little bit of this, and it kind of pissed me off, to be honest with you. It took so long so long to get a party go, or actually, you make your own party. So it took so long to finally get to the part where I could make my party. And even when I got to that part, maybe I didn't read something, but I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know what I was doing, and I had to check a guide because it took so long for me anyway to figure out how to get it. And it turned out that I hadn't met the lady at the inn or something that I could make my party yet. I was like, holy hell, come on, let me play a role playing game. And that's not to say that all the characters in a role playing game need to be presented right away. But to me, that was like the selling point of this game, is that you customize your own party and stuff, and you go. And it just seemed like it took forever. And then I started level grinding a bit. It was fun, but I don't know. There's something about Dragon Quest that I just can't get into, and I don't know what that is. Mostly, if I had to guess, I would say it's because I've never completed one. But first tastes don't necessarily make great games. It's kind of like your meal. The first couple bites, they might be, but at the end, if you're full, that's okay. But you want that meal to be so good that you want to have it again, right? And that's what I'm hoping to get out of Dragon Quest IX, is that I'll play it, I'll beat it, and it'll be like, you know what? I actually enjoyed that. I'm gonna try another one. And if I can do that, then I think I'm okay. Because Dragon Quest is one of those series that, I don't know, it just sounds like I'm alone on this. That I'm in the shadows, that a lot of people don't really care to play the games or whatever. But this game, Radiant Historia, holy hell. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. One of the greatest RPGs I've ever played. The combat actually is kind of the part that I don't like. To me anyway, the combat was a little unique, but it never felt... whoops, easy Zelda. It never felt like it mattered too much. It always felt a little tedious to me. There'd be times where it would just be like, alright, move everybody here and hit them. It wasn't anything like that. I'm finding that Bravely Default, the game I'm currently playing right now on the 3DS, they have this really cool system where you can stack up next attacks. And I have yet to die in that game. That's not a way for me to talk about my nose in the air and being like, oh, I'm the best. But the challenge doesn't seem like it's really there a lot of the time. And it could be because I'm level grinding or something. But I feel like I'm always just going into Brave unless you're a healer, you know? And it seems like adding something to the formula that you don't need. And that's what I feel like the combat is in this. Music, everything, I want to do a discussion on this as well. But a phenomenal game. Absolutely phenomenal game. Next game here is a recent pickup as well, the legendary Starfy. I want to get into these sort of platforming cute stuff. Kirby is something I wanted to try. I couldn't find any Kirbys when I was out looking for games. But I'd heard some things about this game here. I hear there's quite a bit of them in Japan, so I think they brought it over here to try the market out. I'm not sure if it did very well, but I wanted to give it a shot anyway. I'm actually pretty... I don't want to say pretty excited, but I am interested in throwing this in sooner rather than later. Some of the characters look really cute. It seems like a fun little quick game. And yeah. And the last game to wrap this up, it seems like this title, or these titles, are always the ones that always end up at the end of these Nintendo videos. But this one's The Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass. Didn't really care for this game. The Wind Waker is one thing. I just don't like how they kept doing spin-offs of the Wind Waker. Like, it's an okay game. The controls I kind of don't like. I don't not like them, but I'm left-handed. I don't know how the right-handed people feel about it, but in this you have to draw where you're attacking, and I would start covering up the screen, and you'd have to point where you wanted to move, and my hand's always on the screen. It's kind of like if you play. Sorry, my cats are getting stupid here. If you play smartphone games or iOS games, a lot of them, they do that, where it's fundamental rule is don't have your hands on the screen all the time where it covers up the game. And that's what I felt this did a lot of. And there's some tedious tracking there. Like, this is probably near the bottom of Zelda games. And I don't, it just, that's too bad. Because I was really kind of excited about this, A lot of the cool features, like actually drawing the pen around and connecting your boomerang to things, that was really sweet. But again, I don't know, kind of a flash in the pan for me. And that's it right now for Nintendo DS. And we're going to wrap it up here with the newest stuff, the Nintendo 3DS. And we're going to start off with Bravely Default. And before I get into that, I just want to say the Nintendo 3DS, it feels like it's a lot like the Nintendo DS in a lot of ways, where it, for me anyway, and even the Game Boy Advance, I guess just systems in general, they always start with maybe 1 or 2, and then they get 5, great games or good games. And then by the end, obviously all the games have been released, and the libraries that you can go back and pick up games, hopefully, are really cool and fun. And I find the 3DS is exactly that. A lot of games that I'd like to get into a little bit more, and there's been some really sweet games. But anyway, I'm playing this right now. We're going to do a game discussion very soon, hopefully, if I can finish this. I believe I'm 20 hours in right now. A lot of that is I bring it to work and I do some level grinding. But amazing game. Amazing. Good stuff. Definitely play that game. Next up here is Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor Overclocked. And this is a port from something. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure this has been remade for a bunch of different systems. A friend that I used to work with recommended it. I have sunk some time into it. I should check into how long this game actually is, because it's unique. I'll give it that. Its storytelling conventions are a little unique. The gameplay itself is okay at best. It's like turn-based strategy mixed with Dragon Quest, I find, where the bad guys are around there and do the attacks. And I'm getting more used to it, but it's a series I've wanted to get into. The second one's out there, Soul Hackers, I think it is, and I want to get. I just want to play this through and see what it is. It's interesting. I don't hate it as much as most turn-based strategy games are. So it's turn-based strategies and dungeon crawling games. Speaking of dungeon crawling games, those are the two series I'm trying to get a little bit more of appreciation for. So Etrian Odyssey 4, Legend of the Titan. I played that again a little bit as well. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very fun. The Dragon Quest kind of element was cool. Making your own maps was fun. The boss fights, I guess, inside the mazes and the dungeons were really cool. I would like to get back into it. What I do enjoy about these games is when they give you a plethora of character classes and you get to make your team that way. Like that stuff I love. I absolutely love that. I don't like it when they go, here's your party of 4. One's a warrior, one's a black mage, one's a white mage, and the other one's always like something. So it's like a thief, or it's just flavor. Usually you probably want some more damage, or whatever you want to do, right? Like a thief, again, like I said. I don't like those games necessarily because they force you into playing the game a certain way. What I like about this is it feels like it gives you a little bit more variety, and it makes it feel like your decisions are actually affecting what's happening here. So, great game. Next up, we got Fire Emblem Awakening. Wow. Talk about a strategy RPG that felt good. This feels amazing. Unfortunately, I had put it down like every other game I ever play. And I want to get back to it because I enjoyed this heavily. There's a thing in this where, and you guys probably know, especially with Fire Emblem, that when your character dies, they're gonzo. As long as it's not your main character. If the main character's gone, then, the game's done. But I remember the first time I was playing, and, I was playing for a while, and a character died, and I was like, oh no. And I was doing really good in that battle, too. Just save for that one person that the bad guy landed a critical hit or something and killed them. So I restarted it. And I played through it again, and it was cool. I played a couple more missions, and somebody else died, and I was like, oh no, and I restarted. It got to the point where I think after 3 deaths, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try a little different. I always hear everybody saying, like, when you die, restart. When you die, restart. So you get all the characters and all that stuff. I was like, screw that. I want to play the game that I would think the developers wanted me to play, where it's risk versus reward and a little bit of punishment thrown in there. If you get sloppy, or if the bad guys get the upper hand, you can lose. I like that. I mean, I don't know how it would exactly work if you're only left with a few characters, if you could even beat the game, or you'd have to restart. But that challenge that I'm throwing on myself, I like. Because what's cool is there's a lot of characters in here, and they always have side stories where they would talk to each other. And you would start to see, like, actual personalities that were actually pretty cool quirks and stuff. And then that character dies, and you're like, it felt more tragic. Like, I can't even... That's one of the amazing things, and just talking about it is actually giving me those magic feels again. But, because I remember there was one time where, I think it's the guy with the axe. I forget his name. He's kind of got, like, a spiky haircut. I really started to like that character. He was just a powerhouse, but a lot of times I had to maneuver him around and stuff. But I remember playing, and one of the bad guys hit him, and he was low, and another guy showed up and hit him, and he died. And they do this cool slowdown when the character dies, and I literally was, my mouth open. I was like, oh, like, he's gone. He's gone. And it's just, I don't know, it was very cool. In an age of games and stuff where, a character dies and there's no meaning behind it. When something like this comes along and does it right, I mean, I don't know. I honestly need to go back and play this game because it's been a little while, and this game deserves a lot more. One thing I didn't like is that your main character started off as a mage. I wish you could kind of do like with Etrian Odyssey and stuff where they give you because you can change the jobs and stuff, I believe, of your main character. It's a little awkward that I remember, but like if you could just start off with like 4 classes, let's say, or 5, and just pick one and play that way, that would have been really awesome. Next game here is Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. I did get the Circle Pad Pro after playing this for a little bit, and this is a really cool game too. It's a series I've always wanted to get into. I find that it's hard because I get the feeling anyway when I do this when I'm starting this whole channel and these videos, is that discussion videos, video game topics, and pickup videos are like usually how these channels run. And a game like this comes along, and I always felt that I'm sure there's an end of the game, but the idea is you just hunt, right? And you get your own armor and stuff. There's got to be a story. I know the story that was in here is very primitive, but it always felt more like this is a casual game that you can sink a lot of time into, like a role-playing game, and even more. You just go in there and you do your own thing. I don't want to say it's like a simulator because it's not, but it does feel like that in a lot of ways where you're just going and you're like, you know what, today I want to hunt this dude and maybe work on getting an axe or something. Maybe I want to try to get this armor set, and just stuff like that. Like Diablo, but it is grindy, but it didn't ever really feel like, it felt fresh. And I think that's why I stopped playing it for a while, because it just felt like there wasn't a game anymore outside of what I wanted to make the game into, if that makes any kind of sense. But great game. I know there's one on the Wii. This came out for the Wii U, and I was actually considering getting the Wii U as well with this game because you can transfer both of them back and forth, which I thought was awesome. But I think there's another one coming out, and I'm not sure what system it's for. If it's for the Wii U, I mean, that's money. And we're getting to the end here, so we've got Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Like I said before, Link to the Past all the way, but this game is still a great, phenomenal game. Deserves all the praise it's getting. Gets a lot of 10s, which, it's deserving. It's Zelda. I like the franchise. I like the games, so I'm not going to be that guy. But I haven't played this yet. I did turn it on just to see the 3D. I'm really excited to go back and play this because I haven't played this guy in a very long time. And the Ganon fight was, delicious. Really excited to play that. And the very last game I have for my 3DS is Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. Got it for Christmas. I have yet to play it. My wonderful girlfriend got it for me. And it's a Link to the Past, but like, what else can be said about this? I know you guys have all probably already seen all the stuff about this game, and it's weird because Link to the Past is my favorite Zelda game, favorite game of all time, and this came out and it feels like a HD remake of it apparently, and I'm kind of scared to play it, as weird as that sounds, but we'll get to it sooner, hopefully sooner than later. And I don't know, you just look at all these stacks of games and you just gotta, where's the time? Woe is me. But this video's gone on way too long. I just wanted to spend a little bit extra time talking about these two systems that I think everybody should own. If any of those games that I showed you are remotely interesting to you, there's still a lot of games that I want to get for these guys. I recently just picked up, or I'm looking for the Mega Man Zero games for this guy. All kinds of games. There's so much. And I really hope that you guys enjoy the system. And I will say one last time, if you have a GameCube, get the Game Boy Advance player so you can play Game Boy Advance games. It changes it dramatically. And it's one of the things I wish the Wii or even the Wii U had. Some way to get this guy on there, or even this guy, to be able to play DS carts on the Wii U. I would buy the Wii U in a heartbeat. So, anyway, thank you guys for this awesome ride. Hopefully you enjoyed some of the games I do have in my collection, and you'll see me through to wherever the hell this channel goes. So take care, enjoy the rest of your day, morning, night, wherever you're at, and stay tuned for some more videos, and we'll talk soon. Bye.